There is a dark side to the sleep optimization industry that nobody in the wellness space wants to talk about. You've done everything right. You bought the $300 sleep tracker. You dimmed your lights at 9 p.m. You're hitting 8 hours, maybe even 9. And you still wake up feeling like you got hit by a truck. Here's what that industry won't tell you. Sleep is not your problem. Sleep is the scapegoat. Because if you blame sleep, you keep buying sleep products. You keep downloading sleep apps. You keep obsessing over REM cycles. Meanwhile, the real energy thieves are operating in broad daylight, draining you hour by hour, and nobody is talking about them. A 2021 study published in the journal Nutrients analyzed 26,000 adults and found that 68% of people reporting chronic fatigue had adequate sleep duration. Adequate sleep. And they were still exhausted. So if it's not sleep, what is it? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly what is stealing your energy, and more importantly, how to take it back. So why hasn't your doctor told you this? Why hasn't your favorite health influencer made this video before? Follow the money. The global sleep aid market was worth $81.2 billion in 2022, according to Grandview Research. That's a massive industry with a massive incentive to keep you focused on sleep. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. The real causes of chronic fatigue, the ones backed by decades of research, are not sexy. They don't sell a gadget. They don't require a subscription. They require you to understand how your body actually produces energy at a cellular level. And that conversation gets buried. Dr. Jacob Teitelbaum, a physician who spent over 30 years studying fatigue disorders and published his findings in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine in 2006, called it the most underdiagnosed epidemic in modern medicine. His words, not mine. Underdiagnosed. Meaning your doctor probably hasn't brought it up, meaning you've probably been told to sleep more, stress less, exercise. The same recycled advice that has never once solved your problem. The system isn't set up to find the real answer. It's set up to sell you the easy one. Here's what the researchers know and what the supplement industry quietly knows but rarely explains clearly. Your body runs on something called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It is your cellular currency of energy. Every single thing you do, thinking, breathing, walking to your kitchen, burns ATP. And your mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside your cells, produce it. But here's the catch. Your mitochondria cannot produce ATP efficiently without specific micronutrients, and those micronutrients are being depleted faster than at any point in human history. Why? Chronic stress, ultra-processed food, alcohol, prescription medications, even intense exercise. All of it burns through the same handful of nutrients your cells desperately need to keep the lights on. A landmark meta-analysis published in Scientific Reports in 2020 reviewed data from 195 countries. It found that micronutrient deficiency, not caloric deficiency, was the #1 overlooked driver of unexplained fatigue worldwide. Not in developing nations, worldwide, including you. Including the person watching this right now eating what they think is a balanced diet. The insiders call it hidden hunger. You're fed, but you're starving at the cellular level. That's the real reason you're tired. Let me show you the system. Think of your energy like a bathtub. Sleep fills the tub. But most people have no idea how many invisible drains are open at the bottom. Drain 1. Chronic low-grade stress. Your adrenal glands pump cortisol every time you check your email, every time you sit in traffic, every time you scroll through bad news at 7 a.m. Cortisol production burns through magnesium at an extraordinary rate. Drain 2. Blood sugar instability. You eat a high-carb breakfast, your blood sugar spikes, crashes 2 hours later, and your body goes into low-grade emergency mode. That crash feels like fatigue, but it's actually your body burning emergency fuel reserves. Drain 3. Inflammation. Inflammatory cytokines, proteins your immune system releases, directly suppress mitochondrial function. Poor sleep, bad diet, and high stress all trigger inflammation, which then destroys the very machinery that makes your energy. And drain 4, the one almost nobody talks about, nutrient depletion. Your B vitamins, specifically B1, B2, B3, B6, and B12, are the cofactors for every single step of cellular energy production. Without them, your mitochondria cannot convert food into ATP. You can eat perfectly, and still run on empty if these cofactors are missing. This is the system. All 4 drains open and you're pouring sleep into a tub that will never fill. Let's get specific because you deserve more than theory. In 2017, researchers at the Black Dog Institute in Sydney published findings in the journal Nutrients showing that B vitamin supplementation over 12 weeks reduced self-reported fatigue scores by 31% in adults with no diagnosed deficiency. No deficiency, and they were still depleted enough that supplementing made a measurable difference. In 2012, a meta-analysis in the journal Magnesium Research analyzed 44 clinical studies. The conclusion: 68% of Americans consume less magnesium than the recommended daily amount. 68%. And magnesium is required for over 300 enzymatic reactions in your body, including the final step of ATP synthesis. Without it, your cellular power plants literally cannot finish the job. Then there's the Framingham Heart Study, one of the longest-running health studies in history, tracking residents of Framingham, Massachusetts since 1948. A 2016 analysis of that data found B12 insufficiency in nearly 40% of adults between 26 and 83, with insufficiency defined as levels low enough to cause neurological and metabolic changes, including fatigue. Even without clinical deficiency. Insufficiency, not deficiency. Your doctor likely didn't test for insufficiency. These aren't fringe studies. These are published in peer-reviewed journals. The evidence has been there for decades. It just never made it to your doctor's waiting room. Okay? So now you know the system, you know the drains, you know the evidence. Here's what actually matters. What do you do with this? First, understand that you cannot supplement your way out of a fundamentally broken lifestyle. If you're sleeping 4 hours, eating nothing but processed food, and running on caffeine and anxiety, no supplement will rescue you. Fix the foundation first. But if you're already doing most things right and still exhausted, which describes a huge portion of people watching this, then targeted micronutrient support can be the missing piece. A whole food diet rich in leafy greens, legumes, eggs, nuts, and seeds covers a significant portion of your B vitamin and magnesium needs. Dark chocolate, by the way, is one of the highest dietary sources of magnesium per gram. That's not a joke. That's biochemistry. Stress management is non-negotiable. Even 10 minutes of slow breathing daily has been shown in clinical trials to measurably reduce cortisol output. Stabilize your blood sugar by adding protein and fat to every meal. This single change reduces the mid-morning and mid-afternoon energy crashes that most people assume are normal. They are not normal. They are your body signaling that something is wrong. And on the nutrient front, this is where I want to give you something specific and useful. This is where most health content goes vague. Not here. Let me give you a real starting framework. If you want to address the B vitamin gap, look for a methylated B complex. The word methylated matters. Many people, particularly those with an MTHFR gene variant, which affects an estimated 40% of the population, according to a 2019 review in Genetics in Medicine, cannot properly convert standard synthetic B vitamins into their active forms. A methylated B complex uses pre-converted forms, methylcobalamin for B12 and methylfolate for B9, meaning your cells can actually use them without the conversion step. For magnesium, form matters enormously. Magnesium oxide, the most common form in cheap supplements, has a bioavailability of less than 4%. That means if you take 400 milligrams, your body potentially absorbs less than 16 milligrams. Instead, look for magnesium glycinate or magnesium malate. Glycinate is the most bioavailable form for general use and has the added benefit of supporting sleep quality and nervous system calm. Malate specifically supports mitochondrial energy production through the malate aspartate shuttle, meaning it directly feeds the energy cycle we've been talking about all video. I've linked specific products I personally researched and trust in the description below: transparent labeling, third-party tested, no proprietary blends. Before you buy anything, though, the single most important first step is to ask your doctor for a comprehensive micronutrient panel, not a standard blood test. Ask specifically for serum B12, RBC folate, serum magnesium, and a full metabolic panel. Most standard checkups miss these entirely. Knowledge before spending, that's the principle. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only. Nothing constitutes medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional. You came into this video believing your exhaustion was a sleep problem. Now you know the truth. The industry doesn't profit from telling you. Your mitochondria need fuel. Your adrenals are burning through reserves. Your blood sugar is swinging. And the micronutrients that hold the entire system together are almost certainly not where they need to be. That is not a character flaw. That is biology being outpaced by modern life. But now you have the map. If this video gave you something your doctor's appointment never did, hit that subscribe button. Because this channel exists to give you that information every single week. Drop a comment below. Which of the 4 drains resonated most with you? The stress drain, the blood sugar drain, the inflammation drain, or the nutrient drain? I read every comment. Share this with someone who has been exhausted for years and been told it's just stress or just aging. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone you care about is hand them the truth. See you in the next one. Disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. Nothing constitutes medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional.